All right, we are recording. Hi, everyone. Good evening and welcome to our second. This actually should have been our third, but we had to postpone the course chat, the monthly talk we were going to have at the beginning of the month about Casco Bay. That should be next month. We just got some exciting news, but I can't really go into further detail on that. You know, with COVID going on and all that kind of stuff, all the islands are kind of different. So we got some approvals and we should be making an announcement on the course. The map that's online, all the maps for all the races are subject to change, especially in today's environment. But so we should pop up a schedule for that Casco Bay course meeting pretty soon, maybe within a week or two, and we'll definitely have it next month. So this was going to be the third. It's the second, technically the second monthly chat. This is about Mackinac Island, which is in northern Michigan on Lake Huron, in the Straits of Mackinac between the Lower Peninsula and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So this race takes place on August 29th. First, I should say who I am for those of you that don't know, haven't met me before or seen me on camera. I'm one of the co-owners and race directors of ÖDYSSEY SwimRun. Lars Finanger is the other one. I don't know if he's on. Lars, are you on right now? He might not be. He had some family stuff tonight. So we're missing Lars, but I'm more than capable. I actually live in Michigan here. I'm not too far from the race site. It's about a 3 to 4 hour drive, depending on where you're coming from in Michigan. So the race is August 29th. 250 people total are what we're allowed to have. Obviously, there's a little attrition in there, and 250 people isn't counting a team as one, it's counting a team as two. So depending on how many solos and team entries we have, I'm not exactly sure how many that's going to amount out to as far as a team counting as one, but 250 total for people. Right now, we're almost at 160 total for people. And if you look at the amount of teams that have signed up where the captain signed up, but the teammate didn't sign up yet, which counts as another registration, even though it's free, we're probably sitting right around 200 total that we have allocated. So we've got about 50 spots left. That's it. So for a first year race, it's tremendous. And we certainly appreciate the support. I'm assuming here that most people that are on this call today are registered for the race, but if you're not, that way you know where we stand on registration, and we certainly hope you'll join us. So this race is on an island that's about 8 miles around. There's a perimeter road that's actually considered a highway, even though no motor vehicles are allowed on the island. You can only use bikes and horses and obviously run or walk. There's no e-bikes allowed, just so you know. There are some vehicles for EMS and emergency that are allowed on the island. Obviously, there's a police force, police department, and a fire department there as well. They've got city council and elected officials and everything. So there's about 1 million people that visit the island every year. I think last year might have been a little less because of COVID, obviously. But they're well known for fudge and bicycles and horses and carriages. And so we'll get into some of that stuff later because the horses definitely play a role in this race. It's a little different from our others in that way. But some of the history behind the island, it was first formed in 13,000 BC. I didn't know that was the year they say that it was formed, but settled in 1671, although people were showing up on the island in the early 1600s. The British seas controlled during the 7 Years' War in 1756, and the US acquired it after the Treaty of Paris in 1783 after the Revolution. In the War of 1812, the British took control of the island, and one of the reasons I wanted to do it on Mackinac Island so much is because my great-great-great-great-grandfather, somewhere down the line, Ambrose Davenport, was one of the soldiers stationed on the island for the US when the War of 1812 happened and the British seized control of the island. So he was on the island. He was one of the soldiers that refused to surrender, basically told them where to go, and was thrown into prison in Detroit for the efforts until the war was over. So the war was over in 1815, and the US reacquired it after that. It was the second national park, I believe, next to Yellowstone was the first in 1875, and then became a state park in 1895. So there's just some brief history on it. There's a ton more, lots of stuff I didn't mention at all. if you're interested, it's really cool. You can check it out. Just Google search it on the history and you can find out all you need to know. So enough of that. Let's get to sharing the screen and showing you guys. 1 second here. Let's see. Sorry. You guys see my screen or no?
Not yet.
Hold on 1 second. It's asking me to allow it. Okay, it says it's going to make me quit Zoom. Okay, so I am sorry about this, guys. I didn't know I'm on a laptop and I didn't know it was going to make me quit. So let me see if I can pass this over here or share the screen differently. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, did it share?
But I mean, the problems.
Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. So these are the 2 course maps that are online. They will undoubtedly change a little bit during this conversation even, but they may change a fair amount by the time the race happens. If you've done a swim run before, you know that they're a living, breathing thing, even more so than a normal like triathlon or running event. In those events, we're allowed to close roads and things like that. So once you have the permits and you can close the road, it's pretty stationary, doesn't change a whole heck of a lot. In swim run, we rarely close anything. They're in parks we can't close and we're lucky to use. So that means that there's a number of things that can make us change the course last minute. Usually if we do, it's not by much. It's not gonna kill you and add a ton more running. It's not gonna take something away that's that much for you guys. But keep in mind, if stuff changes, we never change the course unless it is something that we have to do for safety reasons, for permitting reasons, or maybe just to improve it for you guys. So we appreciate the trust and the leeway there. It could change anytime from now up until the race starts. So if it changes the week of or even a day or 2 prior, we're definitely gonna let you know. But keep in mind, once you're out there, it's kind of like everything else. You're gonna follow markings and we'll go over that during this talk. And if you're following the markings, we're gonna lead you on the way. When people usually ask for the course map, unless you know the island and you've memorized all the trails, it's nice to kind of see what you're doing, but you're not gonna, you're not going to really know what it all means. It's just that type A kind of personality, which we all have. So anyway, let me zoom in here. I'm gonna go with long course because I've got to go over that anyway, and I'll show you where short course splits through and kind of knocks a couple runs and swims off. So in the morning, you guys are, if you stay on the island, you're going to walk over to Shepler's dock and you're going to start from the dock and we're going to run from there. If you're staying on the mainland, the schedule for the, I'm not going to go over the schedule, that's on the website. It takes up time to do that. But look at the schedule. If you're on the mainland, you're going to you're going to have a ticket ahead of time and you're going to get on the ferry that morning. I think it's at 6 o'clock is when it's boarding. And you're going to come on over and you'll be over there. It takes about 20 minutes to ride over and then you'll get off and you'll be right at the start line. For those that are on the island, we will not have a bag drop of any kind. You are within a block or 2 probably of where your house is going to be. You know, if you're staying a mile or 2 away and you're running in the morning as a warm up, maybe we can work something out. But if you're on the island, please don't overburden us with even more that we have to keep track of and potentially take up to the top of the finish line with this, which is not a big deal. So if you're, guys, mute, if you could mute yourself if you haven't. So if you're on the boat, you're coming over, you can have a little bag that you can check with us and we'll have a box and you can get those back at the end of the race. I would definitely not put anything of value in there. We just don't have the bandwidth to guard it all and make sure, you know, we'll definitely have something where like there's a sticker on the bag that we would look at your number and match it up. But we're not checking IDs and all that kind of stuff. So nothing of real value in there. If you can help it, please. But anyway, you get off the boat. We're all in the same spot. We start the race. We start at Shepler's, which is right here. Let me zoom in even more here, guys.
Oh, I see it.
If I can. It's not letting me. Let me download this instead. Let me here. There we go. Download it real quick. I downloaded, I can zoom in. So 1 second, Acrobats. All right, here we go. So can you guys see this too? No? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he told us to mute. So how are we supposed to answer?
Sorry guys, we're having had issues here with Acrobat. I'll go back. Okay, I can't share that, but it's all right. Anyway, you start here at the dock and you'll turn right on Market Street and you'll run around, and this is a really big hill here. The course has actually changed. You guys can see what I'm pointing at, correct?
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay, so this is Turkey Hill here, and instead of the course going straight up, this is a change. Just so you guys know, last weekend I was out there and I hiked the entire course, all of it, all 20 miles. Or I guess it's less because I didn't do the swim. But anyway, so I have put my feet on this entire course, and to make it a little harder for you and a little prettier, we're going to go to the left here, and this is a big hill called Turkey Hill, and you'll just circle back around here. All this will be marked. It'll either, be tape on the ground that are arrows. It'll be marking flags. We'll let you guys know before the race exactly what it is. We have to be a little careful and different for this race because of the horses, but I'll get into that in just a second. So we follow this blue line. This section here is one of the only sections that's pretty much an out and back. You get down here, down by the Great Lawn and Mission Point Resort, and we get in on this side, and we'll lead you right up to the water. You'll get in the water. And if any of you have done Austin or you've looked at the Austin map, Austin and Mackinac are a lot alike in the way that you're swimming parallel to shore. And a number of our other races, not all of them, you're actually swimming point to point across, and you can see where your exit is right when you get in. Mackinac Island is not like that, and neither is Austin for the most part. You get in and you're going to swim out, or you're going to walk out, run out, whatever you want to do until you get to a point, and we'll try and mark it. But mainly what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to a point where you can actually swim. Once you get to that point, you're going to swim parallel with shore. We don't want anyone too far out. And if you look at the map, the yellow icons here of water safety vessels, those are kayaks, canoes, something that you paddle, okay? The red ones are something that's motorized, whether it's a pontoon boat, a john boat, it could be a fishing boat, whatever it is, jet ski even, the red ones. And we're gonna try and have more than we have on the map, but we put the minimum of what we're gonna have on this map, and then hopefully we overdo it. So that being said, you can obviously see here that this dotted swim course here is on the inside, so the kayaks would be on your right. Every swim is moving counterclockwise around the island, with the kayaks and the boats being on your right. Now, if they have to come in and rescue someone, or someone has to hold on to the front of the kayak or something like that to rest, they may move around in that regard. But for the most part, they're going to try and keep you between them and the land. And if you breathe to your left, which most people do, but if you breathe to your left, you should be able to see the land. So between the boats being on your right and the land being on your left, you're going to kind of gauge that and follow the land around. Now, at some point at the exit, you're going to see a marker. So we can start talking right now about the horses, okay? So I didn't know just how unique the situation is with the horses on the island. When we were going to council to get approval, the carriage companies were part of that approval and talking to us about just how sensitive the horses are to new things on the island that they haven't seen. And so people obviously are things that they have seen. Clothing that's different colors is obviously something they've seen. But big teardrop flags or wind flags that are 20 feet tall and bright colors are not something they see every day. It's really not even something that's allowed on the island that much at all. So that when those horses see those flags waving in the wind, even if they're off the side of the road, they will very easily spook and run around and cause a scene and potentially be very dangerous. So that goes for something as big as a 20-foot wind flag. It also goes for inflatables. It goes for stuff as small as the tape that we usually, like the barricade tape is usually what we use to mark the course. If you've done our events before, then you know we clothespin it to branches and signs and stuff, and it just waves in the wind. It's yellow. Let me show you. Hold on, guys. Get the stuff out. Should have had out already. Okay. So this is usually, you guys can see me in the top right corner or no?
Yes.
Okay. So this tape with our logo and this tape. Last year we used 2 colors. This year we probably only use 1. We'll see. But this usually is waving in the wind, showing you which way to go, and you follow this tape. The problem is the horses see this, and the movement or the sun catching it and reflecting off it can drive them crazy. Though they will cause a stink for sure. There's been instances where just a white plastic bag blowing across the street has sent them running for their lives. And potentially, depending on who's on board, that can endanger lives as well. So we're in the process of trying to figure out what we're going to do. It will definitely be something you can follow. My thought is, and they're okay with cones, is that at the swim exit or at the swim entrance, we have a certain color cone. We probably wouldn't do orange. We'd probably do like a green or a pink. And then at the exit, maybe whatever we didn't use at the start, a green or a pink, something like that. It's a cone, and they're used to seeing those to a certain regard. And the color may not be what they're used to, but we can kind of hide those from the horse's view. So that'll probably be what we do with the entrance and the exit. And if you're sighting to your left and breathing, or you're sighting straight kind of to your left too as you breathe, you should be able to see a bright colored cone. And we'll have a volunteer there as well, because at the exit is also where we put our water stations, a majority of them. Once in a while, we'll vary from that. But most of the time we have our water stations there so that our volunteer can be our swim exit volunteer, we can check people out, and we can keep an eye on the aid stations. The aid stations are self-serve, especially because of COVID. The volunteer that's around will restock them as they can, but you're certainly more than welcome to get your own stuff. Just be clean about it. We'll have hand sanitizer there as well. Let me show you what we plan on having there. So at the very least at the stations, we'll have Science and Sport, which is our sponsor, gels. Science and Sport bars. And then these are like noon tabs. I say noon because most of you are familiar with that. Not everyone knows Precision Hydration, which is our sponsor for our hydration, but they make a great product. And we put these tabs in our water. So we may have one there that just a water cooler there that just has water with these. We may have one that just has water and these, okay? This is a cupless race. Everyone will get a silicone cup. Let me see if, sorry guys, let me see if I have that. I don't have one of those, I don't think. But a silicone cup that you can just crush down and easily put inside your wetsuit or whatever and carry with you. They don't hurt as you run. You don't chafe from them. They're great. We've used them over the years. We may have a few emergency cups there, but don't rely on that. So you're going to bring your cup. You can bring a flask, bring whatever you want, just nothing really disposable. The trash from these, you either carry with you or you stop the aid station, you use them, and you throw out in the trash. Restrooms are also shown on this map. They're kind of small, but there's one right here that's by the finish line and on the first run, about a third way through. There's another one at run 2 and run 3. And then there's another one on the long course when you get out of swim 4. So there's a number of them all over the place. If you are someone that has to go to the bathroom frequently and you don't think there's enough, all of these restrooms, by the way, are permanent ones that the island has there. They're not porta cans that we put out. So if you need to stop more than that, that'd probably be rare. But if you're one of those people, I would suggest taking some toilet paper in a plastic bag so it's waterproof And then if you have to, and it's an emergency only, duck into the woods, do your business and come out. Make sure you bury stuff, be discreet. No one wants to see anything, but that is an absolute emergency. Do not just randomly do that. Take care of business at the restrooms. Okay, so we talked about the horses. We talked about course marking, which we'll bring you updates on as we decide how we're going to cater the horses. Now, that being said, the horses aren't everywhere on the island. We don't have to worry about it everywhere. So we will make an announcement over the next month. I'm going to refine this map. I may even put on here where the horses are known to be, that kind of stuff. As far as you guys running up on a horse or running head on towards a horse or passing them, as long as you don't make sudden movements, you're not real jerky as you run, you're not waving your arms around, you know, common sense stuff that you really shouldn't be doing around big, large animals with people on them. You can even, the areas where you get out of the swim in particular, you will likely have to cross the road at the exit to get back to the other side or go up a trail or whatever, because we don't just run on this ring road here that much. This is probably the section we run the most up here. And then down here, we run a fairly large portion, but we don't run the whole ring road. It's trails, especially Tranquil Bluff right here. So some of the places we may revert back to this tape. Just give me a little bit of time to kind of map that out and let you know. And we'll go over that. So anyway, we stopped and got off track here, coming out of the first swim, go on to run 2, all uphill here. This whole section here is a lot of climbing. There is 1,600 feet of gain total on this course. My watch said there was more, over 2,000 feet of gain total. And a lot of it comes in this area right here. There are a ton of steps between the, I would say 2/3 of the stairs are up and maybe 1/3 are down, because we finish on right by Fort Mackinac up here on the hill higher than we started. So 2/3 are up, 1/3 down, let's say. And there are probably 1,200 to 1,300 stairs in this race total. It's awesome. I will tell you, for as out of shape as I am, I hiked it and I did it and I was sore the next day, but if I can do it, you're in shape, you can do it. So lots of climbing, lots of hills, really cool scenery through here. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance. I'm a professional photographer as well, and I did not have a chance yet to go through the photos I took. But when I do, I will post those. They kind of go in order, and maybe I'll even kind of put some of those on a map so you can see where those are. But you go down the stairs and up the stairs. There's 200 here at Arch Rock. You do the swim, you come out, and you get on Tranquil Bluff. Tranquil Bluff is a single track, rock-filled, root-filled trail, kind of the typical mountain bike type trail that you would expect, but lives up to its name when it says bluff. You're running right on the bluff, and some of the views that you see are absolutely spectacular. And if you look on our Facebook page, you can see one of the views I posted out. You can see a big chunk of the island. The water's extremely blue and clear and green. Over by the docks, you can see down, it's like 20 feet. And it's gotten clearer over the years because of the zebra mussels. They're an invasive species, but from my perspective, I don't live there, I don't boat, but they've made the water clearer because they filtered everything out. And so from that standpoint, it's even more beautiful and colorful. It's absolutely amazing. It looks like the Caribbean. So you're running on run 3. Once you get up on the bluff, it's kind of rolling hill type thing. It's not that hard. Just watch your step through here. There's not a ton of like huge hills or big angles or anything like that, percentage grades. You start to descend through here. This is more of a fire gravel road through here. People live over in this area here, and you'll keep descending down. This flattens out, opens up a little bit, and Scott's Road will take you out onto the main road, the ring road here that runs 185 runs around the entire island. And if you've been there and ridden your bike around the island, that's the road I'm talking about. But because it's swim run, we want to do most of our swims or most of our running that we can on trails or inland roads and things like that. So plus there's another element to this. MDOT is doing construction from Arch Rock all the way around to British Landing. They're starting, I think now, or in the next week or two, and they're going counterclockwise, starting in Arch Rock to British Landing. And hopefully by the race, they definitely will still be doing construction, but hopefully they'll be up in this area. Now, that being said, we may have to adjust where we get in and out of the swim, how much of this run is being done. It could potentially even be we run right out Scotts Road and we get in right here, we swim down around something, maybe a kayak, or maybe we do put something in the water here. Usually we don't, but if we have to because of construction, we will. But you might have to get in right here, swim around like a loop and get out here. We might not be able to use this road right here. I don't know. But the great thing about our course is we're very flexible. We can add and take away things as needed. So we don't have to cancel the whole event like a running race would that's going to use all 8 miles all the way around. So we're still a go for that. So we come out, we do this swim, hopefully as planned, as you see it here. Now let me backtrack for 1 second. The short course took the same route on run 3, but you are going to use Leslie right here, and you're going to come over and connect to where the long course comes down on British Landing. So you will go right here and across and cut across British Landing here where they turn and join with the long course. Now both races start at the same time. We have to, because if we're going to use the dock in the beginning or even be in town at all, we've got to get out of there. People come to work and everybody wakes up and it's crazy. So we do have some cutoffs. We have to be out of Arch Rock. I believe it's, I want to say 9 o'clock because that's when the carriage tours start and Arch Rock gets busy. But everything north of here, this is pretty barren as far as people and tourists. You will run into people, but it's nothing like down here as far as that goes. So short course cuts through here and connects. That eliminates this swim, the rest of this section of run 3, although it really extends your third run if you're short course. So be ready for that. Your third run goes all the way over to here and gets in at long courses, swim 5. Okay, so long course, let's go and to where you'll meet up with them. You get out of the swim, a little bit out and back here to get back to the trails. You run along this road here, and there's just kind of some winding through here to get over towards British Landing and the dock. So this dock here may or may not, we may have to come down a little bit. It depends on the construction equipment and how packed all this is, because from what I've been told, every weekend they grab all the equipment they can, get it off this road and bring it over here. So this may be a little bit south of here, but you get in here, there's a real short swim, and then you get out and go on British Landing. So British Landing's a big main road, relatively flat, not a lot here is going through the woods. I mean, it's scenic, it's all really scenic, but it kind of looks the same down through here. And you will make a right turn. If you're on long course, short course, you join up right here together. And this is awesome through here. I love this part. It was probably my favorite part other than the views over on Tranquil Bluff. This part along the airport, there's a fence right here along the airport. And there's a little trail on the outside of that fence. And you follow the fence, and that little trail, there's barely any room there. There's like trees on your right, fence on your left, but you can see the airport. And yeah, they put the airport up on a hill because this is all kind of climbing through here. Not major, but enough where it surprised me. And then you go along the airport and Partridge Trail, you turn onto that. All this is single track through here, and you get dumped out on the ring road again here on 185, get in the water. So guys, a lot of this in here where we're doing the swims is private property. We're getting in and out on state park land, okay? But we are swimming along a lot of private land. And that's not to say people are going to come out and scream at you or anything like that, but we did not get approval from any private land because we don't need to for what we do. That being said, if you get out and it's emergency and you have to exit, then that's one thing. But we're not taking rests and exiting and walking and, you know, especially let's get away from the athletes for a second and talk about spectators. Spectators, family members, please convey to them that they are more than welcome to stop at the swim exits and the swim starts, but they are not, let's not stop between the 2 points beyond just stopping on the road to look out there. Do not go out on the beaches because they're not going to be able to tell where it's private property and it's not. And a majority of the land from between start and exit is private property. So if they put their bike down and go out here, then they could get in trouble. We might not come back because of that. You know, we want to be welcome back. So just swim exits, swim starts, they're fine. Okay. So we get out here, run. What is this swim or what is this run? Let's see, it's about a mile. Felt like an eternity for me because it was a long day at that point. Hopefully it doesn't feel that way for you. You get in the water here out by Devil's Kitchen, I believe it's called here. Yeah, Devil's Kitchen. It's a rock formation on the inside of the cliff there. And you'll get out at Pontiac's Lookout. This is all state park property in here at Pontiac's Lookout. So, and you know, if anyone is watching you and they're on the road and they see a marker that says entering state park land, then that's okay. But if they don't see anything and they're wondering, that's what I'm discussing with you. Okay, so you get out at Pontiac's Lookout here. Pontiac's Lookout is not down here. It's way up here. So this is one of the last climbs, staircases going up. You have a set of stairs here and a set of stairs here, and then you're working your way up. And you're going back around. Now, I will say this is one of the areas, it was late at night. I did not go and hike all this, but I've done it before. And then this section over here overlaps. You did a little bit of this in the beginning. The cemeteries are over here, which is pretty cool. My great-great-great-grandpa I was talking about, Ambrose Davenport, he's actually laid to rest here with our family, which was a really cool thing to see for me. But you guys are going to go through, not through, but by the cemeteries here. There's a military cemetery and a couple other ones. So you'll see those twice. It's just kind of a cool addition to the race. But anyway, that's the red part is the last part of the race. There is some climbing here, not only right here, because remember, you're at sea level and you got to climb up, and then you're climbing up more through here. And then you're going to go probably a little downhill through here to the finish. This is still way above sea level down here. But by Fort Mackinac to the side of it is where we're going to have the finish. So I know that's not super detailed. I don't know how much more detailed you guys need it. I haven't looked at the questions, sorry. Let me unshare my screen here, or I can go back. 1 second. Stop share. So road versus trail, that was actually the only question that I see. I would say it's 1/4 to 2/3 road, like paved, maybe more, or I'm sorry, 1/4 to 1/3, not 2/3. 1/4 to 1/3 paved, and the rest is gravel fire road or single track trail. There's a lot of single track, and I could be off on that. I will update you on that. I may even put it to the map, because now that I've done the whole course, I know what's what, and I can put that on there. But just from recollection, I think it's safe to say 1/4 to 1/3 is paved. The paved parts are certainly scenic, so it's not just boring flat running. You're either along a shoreline, in the woods, so it definitely won't be boring for sure. So another question was, are there any other stairs after you exit at Pontiac Lookout? So let me go back to the map here and take a quick look, because as I said, I didn't do the whole last run. It was getting late. So I do not believe so, unless there's some, as you go back up towards the airport in the, like, I don't know, the middle third of that last run. I can't imagine there would be. Usually the staircases are at sea level climbing up, or around landmarks like Sugarloaf and some of the forts and things like that. So I don't see any of that over there, but don't hold me to that. Just when I thought there wasn't any more stairs, and they hit me with another one. So there's that. When you're doing the stairs, they weren't particularly slick. some of the stairs at Ludington, which is our other Michigan race, can be rather slippery for sure. These weren't slick. In fact, in the beginning, I was kind of running, jogging up and down them, and there was definitely no worry of that. Now, obviously, if it's raining or foggy or there's a lot of condensation, they could probably be that way, but it seemed fine to me. Water temps. So water temps, they could be high 50s if we're having if the water temp is low, but they should be. No. I'm just saying that worst case. Last year, it was in the 60s for sure. And every time I've been there in August, it's been mid 60s to 68 degrees, somewhere in there. But I will say that a week later in Les Chenaux, when we had it, maybe it was 2 weeks, but 1 to 2 weeks later, same area, Les Chenaux, the water came in on a really cold spell they had just after Labor Day that year. And the water was like mid to low 50s, but then by the time they got 2 swims in, it was in the 60s. So that area, I think, is a little more subject to water changing very quickly because of how shallow it is and the fact there's a lot of inlets and islands and stuff. This is an island, but it's completely exposed on all sides. So I don't think you're going to get as much of that. I would count on it being in the 60s. And with a wetsuit, it's fine. There's races all over the place that are high 50s with a wetsuit that are fine in SwimRun. So yeah, count on mid 60s. That's why we picked this, because it is enjoyable with the wetsuit. But I always say plan for the worst, because when you plan for the best, you're not going to get it. Will we be able to zip down chests and run number? Okay, so you wear a number bib. It's like a singlet if you haven't done this before, like a running singlet, except it's tighter. You wear that on top of your wetsuit so that we can see while you're swimming if something were to happen, or if you keep your wetsuit up, we can see it. Usually what people do is they'll take the singlet off, they'll peel the wetsuit down to their waist, which is pretty quick, and just put the singlet back on. I've seen a number of people do that in very quick time, especially if you're on a team, you can help each other, which is great. And so, and then I've seen people too, if the weather is a little cooler, air temperature especially, I've just seen them keep the wetsuit up and run with the bib on the whole time. Keep in mind that if you pull your suit down to your waist, it is rather difficult to get back up. I would, if you're solo and planning on doing that, I would practice that while you're wet, putting it back on and taking it down and all that. If you're good at it and it's okay. The great thing about SwimRun wetsuits is that they zip in the front, not the back, like a triathlon wetsuit does. Triathlon wetsuits are going to be much tougher for people to do. We definitely don't recommend those, but we're not going to stop you from using them. ARC's our sponsor. If you need a discount code for ARC, just email us and we'll get back to you on that. I believe it's 10 or 15% off, something like that. Oh, I'm Aaron, but someone said, John, you can definitely unzip. See, John knows that. I'm not so much. I was brought in after that. But you can unzip with the bib on. So, okay, that's a good thing. Yeah. Pull the singlet up and then, yeah, okay. Sites to buy, sneakers, wetsuit. Okay, so if you're short course, we provide a rental, free rental of a rest tube. And they look like this, or at least they do right now. We're trying to work out a deal to buy these. We've rented them in the past, but if we buy them, then we don't incur that cost. And you guys still get them. Short course gets these as of now. Worst case, you won't get these and you'll get a tow behind buoy that's already inflated. We don't like those for a number of reasons. They're kind of cumbersome for you to run with. They're not too bad, but they're still there and annoying and whatever. They work great, but in the pictures, you know, we like it to look like just the athletes. So we're shooting for these again. What these are, they go around your waist, kind of like a little fanny pack. That's super cool. And then you just pull this little thing here and it inflates these if you need it in an emergency. This also seconds as a whistle. So you can blow on that if you need help, and it inflates to a rest tube, floats. It's got a cartridge in here. So if you're buying these and you're flying, keep in mind that's not a good thing. They will not let you take that on if they catch you with it. So we will have these. You could purchase them from us if you want. If we have extras after we have enough to rent out to people, We rent them out for free to short course. Long course, you don't have to have them. You have a partner. You don't have to be tethered. If you want to be tethered, you can. You have to carry a tether, even though we're not making you use it, because if the weather gets bad, and when I say the weather, if the weather gets bad enough, we're obviously going to cancel the swim. We would be super hard pressed to cancel the run, no matter what, unless a tornado is tearing it apart. We're going to have at least like a half marathon trail run out of this, if not longer, maybe a 25K. I'm looking at how to eliminate the swims if we have to, if the water's too rough, and still give you guys a really cool long trail run. So that would happen almost no matter what. But if the water's just rough enough where we can have it, and it's a little bit too much, and we need you guys tethered together, that's why we have one person on the team carry the tether, just in case we make a call the day before, the morning of, or even during the race, and we would tell you that at the aid stations, hey, you got a tether from now on. So that's why we have you take that with you on a team. You're certainly welcome to use it, even if we don't dictate that you have to. You really don't get entangled up in it like you would think. And so these are for short course because you're by yourself. A team, you have each other out there. You should be swimming rather close to each other. Maybe you're kind of sighting off each other, looking back once in a while, making sure your teammate's there. If you exit and your teammate's not there, you have to wait for your teammate. If you continue without them, you're disqualified from the race. You have to wait. Sometimes that's a minute. We've had people wait 10 or 15 minutes on long swims because their teammates like on a kayak, holding onto a kayak, just resting or whatever. Maybe they cramped up. So if you can, kind of look for each other out there with that. Okay. So trail shoes. I would definitely wear, trail shoes, but lightweight no matter what, because you're swimming in your shoes, you're swimming in your wetsuit, you're swimming in everything. So don't take a bunch of stuff with you that you don't need. Fins and paddles and buoys and all that stuff, they're allowed. Same with snorkels. The only thing that a majority of people will go with would be the buoy and the paddles. They definitely help. We don't see a whole lot of people in snorkel or fins or any of that. The shoes you wear, like I said, lightweight. You're probably going to want to do racing, some type of racing flat or lightweight trainer or something that's going to drain. You want something that'll drain. We certainly don't recommend punching big holes in your shoes. But one of the shoes that we know works are the Jaws 2 by Hoka. They're great. A lot of people use those. I know Lars and John wear those all the time. So that's one I know we can definitely recommend to you guys. But lightweight, whatever that drains, go for that. So at the end, you're going to return this wet rest tube. We'll have a bucket or something if we gave you one and you're in short course. And then you're going to return the timing chip. This year it's a little different. And let's see, that went pretty quick, so I can get through some other stuff. Timing, we're definitely going to go with timer. Those of you that did Austin, Tony Sapp with Negative Split, he's coming from Texas to do all our events. He's a business partner I had at a different venture and for Extreme Tries, and he does a great job. So we're going to fly him up, or he's going to drive. I'm not sure yet, but he's coming to all the events. Everyone's going to get a triathlon style timing chip that you'll have to return, and teams get 2. We're treating all of this. Teams get 1 time. It's going to be 1 time together. Whoever finishes technically first. Everyone, solo, short, or long, or solo or team, every person will get a timing chip and a unique number. It makes it easier on us to track everyone, to make sure everyone's in, and to identify each individual person, even if you're on a team. Also makes it a lot easier for us to hand out bibs and sizes and exchange stuff if we need to on site. So if you're solo, that all makes sense. No other questions asked. You return this and your chip at the end. The chip is not disposable. If you're on a team, you each have your own chip. Whoever crosses first, that's the team's time. You both will turn your chip in when you're done, though. Okay? Does that make sense? I don't think I see any other questions. If anyone else has a question, just shout it out.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you gonna list cutoff times?
Yeah, let me look real quick, and I'm sorry I didn't look at this sooner. Let me look.
Ask them how far the grand.
Yeah, so I will list that. I did the calculations on the cutoff. The only strict cutoff is to make sure that a vast majority are past Arch Rock. Now, that being said, I said strict, but if there's one or two people and they're walking at that point up the stairs, once you get up the stairs by Arch Rock, you turn right and you're on a trail that the horses aren't on right away. So we're going to kind of do what we can there. If there's a very few stragglers in the back, I did the math, and that's like, I think a 3.5 to 4 minute per 100-meter swim pace, and like a 16 or 18 minute per mile to not hit that cutoff. So it's very generous, even with the stairs. But we're certainly, our goal is absolutely to not cut anyone off, but our goal is also to come back to the race. So if we list a cutoff by those stairs at Arch Rock or anywhere else that you don't think you can make, then talk to us. Let's see what we can figure out, okay? Because we definitely want everyone to race and to finish.
Okay, thanks.
How far is the Grand Hotel from the start?
It's, let's see, let me look in the map here and I can tell you, not far. I would say, if I had to guess, it's a half mile.
Good.
Yeah, and it's all downhill, by the way, if you're staying at the Grand Hotel. So
All right.
all downhill. It's between a half and 3/4 mile. And we used to go up by it and then over, but just there's a lot of people going in and out, coming to work early in the morning. So we rerouted at the city's request.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so someone asked age categories for racers and teams. So no, there's not age, but we have overall top 3 male and female solo category, short course, long course. And then we have the top 3 teams for short course and long course. And those are all male, all female, and mixed. There's really not enough people in the race to justify even 10-year age groups. It's just, it gets a little ridiculous. Everybody would almost get an award at that point. So that's
That's
why.
okay.
Yeah. Let's see, how many aid stations on long course and where. So guys, these maps are very valuable tools. So if you look, and it's okay if you haven't looked, I mean, there's plenty of time, we're 4 months out. I'm just letting you know that the rest areas are listed on here. The kayaks and motorized rescue boats are on here. The water stops are listed on here as water droplets at the end of every swim. And let me look real quick. I do believe I put it at the end of every single swim. Yes, they're at the end of every swim. So right when you get out, and the reason, like I said, for that is because we can double up on volunteers, aid stations, waving people out of the water and then checking them out to make sure everyone gets out as well. So, and so it shows where they are, and all the distances for the runs and the swims are on there, so you can calculate that yourself, guys, to see where that is. So if we're going to go up and explore a little bit more and do some more fine tuning to all this. If we decide that there's any runs that are too long, we may put another aid station out there. But keep in mind with this race, it is extremely difficult for us to get things out to where they need to be because there's a lot of uphill. It's all by bike, or if we're lucky, maybe we can get a horse cart to take our stuff, but we can't, there's no cars, there's no motorized anything. And we run into that at other races, obviously, because it's single track and we got to take it out. But we can drive a lot of places on a lot of courses, and we just can't do it here. So we're going to keep it as flat as we can with all the stuff being on the ring road that we're managing, and then throw medical inside the island just a little bit in some various areas. Like I said, there's still a fire department and police department. So if at any time, if you're listening and you're a spectator or family member, if you see an emergency, and our medical can't be everywhere at once, obviously, it's a big course. Feel free to, if it's an emergency, you're calling 911 and they can come out. They have the resources on the island, although limited, to do that, okay? So, other questions, guys? I mean, this was shorter than I thought. We're right at an hour, and I can take any more that you might have. I know that doesn't seem short, but. Just to be clear on the ferry, and I'm going to say this numerous times, on our website, on the race page, we have 2 discount codes for the ferry tickets. One of those discount codes you use to purchase the tickets, and you purchase a ticket and it's good anytime within the date range that that code sets. And one of them is, I think, like 3 or 4 days. It's not a ticket is good for a certain departure and arrival and all that. It's just you purchase a ticket. For instance, I purchased one and I didn't know they were only taking off from one dock last weekend. It was like 15 miles away. So I went with the other company that was right there because I had to get on the island. But that ticket that I purchased that weekend, I'm going to use that the weekend of the race because I haven't used it yet. It's good anytime. Now, I believe the discounted tickets with that code are only good for like that 3 or 4 day block, but you can use them anytime in that 3 or 4 day block to come and go. There's another code, and it's listed on there with an explanation. That code is only what you should use for the discount and to claim your ticket to ride the ferry that morning at 6 a.m. race morning onto the island. We reserved a boat. We paid for our own private boat at 6 because they don't take off till 8 a.m. So we paid a fee for that just to have it available. And then you guys had to purchase the tickets too on top of that. We couldn't do anything about that. But you get the discount, and if you use that code, that tells them how full that boat is. So we need you to use that. And if family members aren't really planning on coming till later, please don't pack the boat with 6 a.m. family members because we're going to need quite a few of those tickets. Now, that being said, if the demand is there and we need to reserve another boat and pay for that, we will. We'll do what's necessary. But that's how that's working. But the other tickets are good whenever. Okay. All right. All right, let me just scan the page on the website and see if anything pops into my head that I should be telling you guys that I didn't. Let's see here. So your swim caps, they're not going to look like this, but they will, as far as color, they'll be red and blue. So short course will be blue and long course will be red. And teams will be shown as a stripe across here. Red, the red long course teams will have a blue stripe here, and the short course teams will have a red stripe here. And then the solo will have no stripe. So they look almost identical except for the color difference and the stripe that lets us know who's on the or who's teams versus solo. And let's see, schedule. Addresses. Oh, packet pickup. Let me talk about that for a second. And I think that's about it. So packet pickup is going to be at I believe it's St. Anthony's on the mainland on Mackinac, Mackinac City. So there's, if you're not from here, just know it's pronounced Mackinac, whether it's Mackinac City in the Lower Peninsula or it's Mackinac Island in the middle of Lake Huron. But Mackinac City is and Mackinac, the Mackinac Bridge, W, or is that right? Not, the island is spelled with a C. And let me, you know what? I'm a little embarrassed. I don't know even that. No, the bridge is a C. The island and the bridge, I'm sorry, guys. The island and the bridge is a C, and the city of Mackinac on the mainland is a W. So it's an easy way. If you see Mackinac spelled with a W, they're probably talking about the mainland, and the C refers to the island. Okay.
Okay.
So packet pickup is on the mainland about a mile from where the ferry departs. So you can, if you're on the island and you want to come to packet pickup in the briefing, that's fine. You can take the ferry over and you can walk. It's a mile. It'll take you like 20, 25 minutes. You can, if you have a car there, you can drive. However you want to get over. It's an easy walk or drive or whatever. You do not have to come to packet pickup if you pay to have your packet mailed to you. I believe it's $15, something new we're doing this year. You can, I'll mail the packet to you. It's no problem. And that's that. You don't have to come to packet pickup. We're going to do a recorded briefing like this and briefly hit on all points and update you guys with any new stuff we've learned between now and then. And we'll post that probably the week of the event. So if you have your packet mailed to you and you watch that online briefing, and you're staying on the island, you don't need to bother coming back off the island unless you just want to meet us and hang out and, be part of the fun. If you're not doing those things, you don't want to watch it, you're not having it mailed to you, and you're staying in Mackinac City, then walk on over and see us. So that's about it. If you're flying in and you don't live here, you're flying to Grand Rapids or Traverse City, or you can fly into the UP or wherever, Detroit, and it just depends on where you fly into. You'll have to rent a car and drive over. You're probably not going to Uber it down or anything like that. Maybe if you fly into the UP, but even then it's probably a 45-minute drive. So you're looking at anywhere from 45 minutes to 4 hours drive, depending on where you come into Michigan and what you want to spend and what you want to see. So last thing I'll say, because this kind of turned into an all-encompassing thing. If you're not from Michigan and you're driving in or you're flying in, plan to stay longer. There are such cool things on the west coast of the lower peninsula. There's things in the upper peninsula. So many sites you can see. The Mackinac Bridge, you'll see it from the island, but drive over it if you haven't. It's amazing and awesome and fun. And just spend some time. Plan on, at least a day or two on the island, and then explore either the upper or lower peninsula. The Traverse City, Leelanau Peninsula area to the west on Lake Michigan is great if you love wine tasting and boating and just being on the beach and shopping. It's absolutely amazing. And then just work your way down. There's lighthouses, white sand beaches, all the way down to Grand Haven. Just take some time and check it out, especially if you haven't seen a Great Lake before. It's just a lot of fun. Any other questions, guys? So the ferry, to purchase the ferry tickets, if you just go to OdysseySwimRun.com and you go /Mackinac with a C, and it'll take you to the race page. Just scroll down towards the bottom, and it tells you about the 2 discount codes, which one means which. There's buttons on there. It goes right to their website. You purchase from their website. And then during checkout, you'll put in whatever code you need. So for a majority of you, you're probably going to use the one code to purchase 1 or 2 round trip tickets to go on and off the island. And then you'll purchase at least 1 if you're staying off the island to use the ferry to come that morning. Packet pickup for team. I am sorry, I did that so long ago. I cannot remember what I decided as far as having your packet mailed if you're a team. I'm not going to answer that right now. I don't want you to sit here while I research that. It is, if you go on to Run Sign Up and you didn't purchase that and you want to purchase it, go into your Run Sign Up account and edit or manage your registration through your own account. You can change your shirt size, your address, your email, anything you want on there, really, within reason. I believe we have it opened for free to transfer to another race if you even want to, or change distances, or whatever you want to do on there. If you find that's not true in some regard, let me know. There's a lot of things I have to press buttons for, and sometimes the right one just doesn't get clicked. So I can change that relatively easy, but I think you can do all that. You can also go in and do the add-ons, which is stuff like training plans and the mailing the packets. And on there, I should say, and I'll look at it when this ends, whether each person on the team is mailed separately to them or the team, whoever pays, just gets the whole thing. I want to say it was separate just because we separated the bib numbers and the timing chips and all of that. And I want to make sure someone doesn't come up to me and say, oh, well, my teammate got the stuff, he can't make it or she can't make it, and now I have nothing. If someone doesn't make it and you're there, you have your stuff, and we can at least put you in solo. Or maybe someone else doesn't have a teammate, we can link you up. So I believe that's it, but I believe it's.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I would like you people to consider having age groups. It isn't the cost of the thing that you award, it's recognition is what's important. It can be very minimal, a piece of ribbon, anything.
Well, you have a finisher's sweatshirt too that you're getting at the end.
Pardon me?
You have a custom finisher's sweatshirt.
Yeah.
That you're getting. I don't know about the part of what we do, and everyone across the country, for the most part, does
Yeah.
like we're doing it. I mean, it's certainly something we'll talk about. I can't promise.
I just want you to consider it,
Yes, well, I will discuss it with.
because we're like never, we're never gonna be in that running ever. So it's very nice if we finish this race, hopefully, that you get recognized.
So part of the issue with that too is the extreme amount of waste. I mean, it produces an astronomical amount of waste, not just funding or money, but also just waste, because you order all these awards and there is a massive amount of age groupers that just aren't there. You might have a big group of people that are in their 40s, no one for like 10 to 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. We will certainly discuss it. It's something where, like you said, if it's just a ribbon, that's not that much waste. But we kind of go big or go home. And so we've had mugs and things like that in the past. But it is a good point you're making. We'll take that.
Well, I've been to many races of all different kinds of races, and it sometimes it's a little piece of glass, or there's been a finish and you just went and it was the same thing. Everybody got the same thing. It was just, but you got recognized, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, if everyone gets
Right.
the same thing, then I mean, that's anything from a medal to a finisher sweatshirt, and those are super nice what we're giving out.
Oh, I don't disagree.
So, okay, any other questions, guys? Nope, I think I got them all. So, all right, speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much. It was very helpful.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
you.